The one thing is very clear in my mind is that I've always wanted to be an actor.
So you hustled your way in.
You're from like either a working class or for myself, like a low socioeconomic background. You gotta play a different game. Could not get an agent. No one in the UK, and I did the same thing, knocked on doors, sent emails, nothing. No one would, I cannot explain to you how disappointing that was. I made a fake agent and that helped me get some of my first jobs.
Honestly, I want to know more.
My sort of break in the industry was Resort to Love, which is the Netflix film, okay? I had no agent. I got this script come through and it said Netflix, untitled project, but produced by Alicia Keys. I thought to myself, the Alicia Keys?
The Night In.
Oh, wow.
Tell me about it.
At least once per project, I will land up in some state of undress, generally nude, and sticky and wet. I'm now bent over a table, completely wet, in my boxer shorts while she's drying my ass. You've got to do something. You cannot just sit and wait for the phone to ring. And you don't need to. It sounds awful to say, but even like my high school I went to, it was just a given that you weren't going to do anything. You weren't going to succeed.
Yeah.
So rejection was almost built in.
So many actors, so many directors that I would love to work with.
You got like a little top three?
What's your top three?
Vegas didn't disappoint. And so basically at the end of that, all I had left was the casino branded toothpick. Yeah, someone says, I want to become an actor, what do you say?
Don't do it.
I cannot tell you the amount of times I've been on set and other actors don't know their line. I mean, I will read that script over and over and over, and I'm not even saying over and over again. I'll sit here, it might be in this chair, over again, read that 100 times easily. But the main mission is not to give up, really. I'm on the precipice.
Hi, I'm Andrei Rogozin. This is Beyond Real Talk, and my guest today is an actor, writer, and musician, right?
I use musician loosely. Yeah, sure.
Kayne Lee Harrison. We will talk about a lot of stuff today.
Nice. Yeah.
And and industry, what have you done, your projects. But before we start all that, I like to ask the question, who is Kayne?
That's a good one.
I mean, is there anything I need to know about you, about your childhood, about your life, about anything that happened with you, to you, that brought you to this moment?
I guess, who is Kayne? Man, what a question to start with. Okay. The one thing is very clear in my mind is that I've always wanted to be an actor. That was always a key. That's one of my earliest memories. I fell in love with TV and film, and then particularly cinema. So for me, that's kind of who Kayne is, just a person who's very much in sync and in one with the medium.
How did it come to life, cinema, like and passion for it, and just knowing it's a job?
Yeah, I guess, so there's a couple of points where it happened. There's one actually going to the cinema. That was an experience in itself. And I used to go to this really, really cheap cinema. It used to be $1.99 for a film in a place called Anglia Square. And it was a great cinema. I loved it. I mean, it's probably a bit of a dive now, maybe, I don't know. But I loved it. And going was kind of the experience of being absorbed in this film. But the film that stands out, that I began to understand that acting could be a career and also what you could do with it, was when DVDs were becoming a big thing. And I bought a film called The Hurricane, which is a Denzel Washington film. That was the film that turned everything for me.
With Dakota Fanning.
No.
Is it different? No, it's Man on Fire. It's a different one.
Yeah, that's a different one. The Hurricane is a true story about a guy called Carter, a boxer. And it was that was kind of the turning moment. I was like, oh, this is actually what you can do with this medium. And then understanding that there is a career in there, but also how hard it is as well. So yeah.
Yeah. And you're not from London, right?
No, I'm not. No.
Where are you from?
I'm from Norwich.
Yeah.
Which always shocked. They're like, what? Yeah, that's where I was born. So I'm from Norwich, which is where Anglia Square, the cinema was. Yeah. And that's where I grew up. So, yeah.
And so how did you get into acting in the end? Or did you go to school?
No, those things weren't available to me from the background I was from. Unfortunately, in many ways, in hindsight, I wish I had, but they weren't accessible. So I've done other things, which is quite odd, and people always find that quite amusing. So a qualified plumber, qualified accountant. I was a qualified accountant, not anymore. Obviously, the qualification probably expired. And so I worked in the city doing accounts for a while. I worked in some of the home counties doing accounts, and the same as plumbing when I was in Norwich. But they were not things that I enjoyed. Yeah. I didn't have a passion for them. So I was in careers that just did not appeal to me, did not give me joy. Acting was always the one. But how do you get in that? And particularly coming from where I come from, how on earth do you break into that? No connection to the industry, not one, hadn't gone to school. How do you do that? And that was the biggest challenge. And still in many ways, is still the biggest challenge.
And how did you do it then?
So there's a couple of ways. I first of all started off being an extra when I was a lot younger. I managed to become an extra for a little while. But I realized very quickly, this isn't right. This is not act. It wasn't proper acting to me. I wasn't in the scene as such. So you need to get an agent, like a proper agent. I must have knocked on every door.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I wrote letters. I went and knocked on doors, emails. No one was interested. No one would even look at me. And became very apparent that it was going to be very difficult. So one of the things I did is I made a fake agent, and that helped me get some of my first jobs.
Nice. Yeah. Because you only hear about stories about that. I never met anyone who actually did it. Hustle like that. Honestly, I would know more.
So I got into voiceover work. That was kind of my segue in, was voiceover work. And it's the same principle, trying to find an agent. No one would listen. No one would take me serious.
That's where I am right now. Right. So I'm trying to get into voice work. But the thing is, like, I recorded my voice reels at home under duvet, just like, and to me it sounds okay, but I'm sure it's not for professionals. Tell me more.
Well, it's one of those things. It's the barrier to entry is so difficult if you're trying to get an agent, because that's what you got to do, right? You've got to be seen as being professional, have an agent that represents you. But that barrier to entry is phenomenally hard. So I started off voicing because I was producing. I worked for a friend as a producer, and I noticed there was a gap, that there was no voiceovers at sort of my age at that point, quite young, doing a lot of younger things, or ads that would appeal to younger audiences. And I thought, there's a gap here, I can try and do this. Yeah. But no one would take me seriously. So I made a fake agent who had a LinkedIn page and everything. That is how I got my first few jobs in voicing. So just by using that fake agent, and that person represented me.
And what's the process? So let's say you're now in your, fake agent's, you're wearing the fake agent hat. So are you writing to the casting directors that you're representing this actor yourself?
Yeah, a combination of that, and also people at sort of different places, like different stations, TV stations, radio stations, things like that, as the agent. That opened doors quite quickly.
Nice.
Which makes no sense when you think about that. That shouldn't work that way. It shouldn't work that way, but it did. As time went on, the fake agent wasn't required, and people dealt with me direct and knew it was me. Yeah. But in order for me to get my foot in the industry, that's what was required. That was what was all that was available to me, with no other options. I had exhausted all the other options, and I thought, okay, well, this is outside the box thinking, and
Were you still back in Norwich?
No, at this point I'm in London.
Okay.
At this point I'm down here. It's tough. I feel for anyone trying to get in this industry. It's so hard. So out of the box thinking is your best friend, particularly if you're from a similar background to myself, where you're not connected, you're from like either a working class, or for myself, like a low socioeconomic background. You gotta play a different game.
Yeah. And I've heard some actors who got there, talk about this. And some of them are ignorant about this issue. They think like, but I will not name names. There was one actor who was coming from, not from working class background, not for sure. And he's up there right now. He's a good actor. And he said once, like, if you have a talent, like, it doesn't matter where you're from, but it's bullshit.
Yeah.
When you have money to go and pay for very, very expensive education. At the same time, you don't have to worry about, actually getting a job and surviving, and you can put all your time into the craft, which is, understandable. It's a very different game.
I completely agree. And that is one of the biggest problems I found. That's, to me, is the biggest barrier on a personal level, is class. There is a massive disparity there. And I mean, even a disproportionate amount of actors in the industry, it's only around 10% are from a working class or low socioeconomic background. 10%. Yeah. So that in itself shows you there is a problem within the system where only 10% are coming through, because the arts should be for everyone, but 90% of it is for these people from upper middle class or wealthy backgrounds. And a lot have connections to the industry. And there's nothing wrong with that. I get that. But it just makes that barrier to entry for other people really difficult. And that's one thing I've noticed and still have to deal with. I mean, I was thinking about this the other day. I realized that I've never been on a set in the UK where I've worked with another cast member who has come from a working class or a low socioeconomic background similar as myself, ever.
Yeah.
I find that just absolutely bizarre.
We spoke a lot about it with Lee Lomas, my friend. He's founder of Working Artist Studio in London, and he's from working class family background. And it's a huge issue. And I had a couple of people on the podcast who were in the same shoes, and they know it.
It's tough. Yeah, it is really, really, really difficult. And I think it shows there's something wrong in the system, and from even the point of education, because it wasn't even for myself, it wasn't something that was promoted or seen as attainable. Very much like, you're not going to land up doing that. You're not going to do that. Whereas when I've worked with other actors and heard about their stories, it's completely attainable. It's like, well, why wouldn't you do that? And also you got to remember, someone like myself moving to London, how do you provide for yourself? Whereas I've got friends that can live in London, but it doesn't matter if they don't work for a while, because their families have got some money behind them to support them. Yeah. And that's great for them. And fair play. If I had that, I'd do it too.
No, yeah.
But that's what makes the industry very difficult for the working class or low socioeconomic background to get in. Because how do you survive?
So you hustled your way in.
Absolutely.
This is amazing.
Absolutely hustling. I'm still hustling. I'm still hustling. That's all I ever have to do.
And how did you get your first agent then? Who wasn't you?
So my sort of break in the industry was Resort to Love, which is the Netflix film, okay? I had no agent. No one in the UK will represent me or would represent me. I had no agent. What happened was, my friend lives in South Africa. He's a stuntman, an actor and a stuntman, but predominantly a stuntman. He's very, very, very good at what he does. Him and I wrote a screenplay during COVID. Yeah. And he said, I'm going to pass it to my agent. Pass it to his agent. She wanted a meeting with us both. So we had this Zoom meeting during COVID. And she was like, I love this, That was it. 6 months later, we're still in COVID. I'm living in Essex at this point, and I get this call, and it's Susie. It's my mate's agent in South Africa. She said, this is really weird. Your name's come across my desk. I was like, sorry. He's like, your name's come across my desk for this script. I was like, okay, so there's a Netflix thing. Have you got the right Kayne? Are you sure they're not after someone else? No, it's definitely you. It's because you're British American, aren't you? I was like, yeah. So I'm going to send it to you. I got this script come through, and it said Netflix, untitled project, but produced by Alicia Keys. I thought to myself, the Alicia Keys? This girl is on fire, Alicia Keys? No, surely no. And I remember calling her back and saying, this is obviously the wrong Kayne. There's another Kayne out there. Yeah. So no.
Maybe Kayne. Yeah,
Kanye. I was saying, I would get Kanye. I would get called Kanye, so maybe that's what they thought. And I thought they've made a terrible mistake. But I got the script and I thought, this is great. And I saw the role, said they want you to do the role of Creed. Can you audition? So yeah, I'm going to do this. So I did this audition at home, self-tape. It's still to the day the easiest audition I've had, and the process the easiest to this day. They called me back, I think it was like a week later, or Susie called me and said, you've got it. And then I got a call with the director. You fly out in 4 days.
Oh my God.
They said, bear in mind, I've got no agent in the UK. So Susie's like, look, I know I'm not your agent, but can I represent you on this deal?
Yeah. And to be fair, you do need an agent at this point, just because they know all the legal stuff, because you don't want to get all this papers and try to figure it out yourself.
I would have had no idea. So It was just incredible. So then we have, within that 4 days, we have a table read. But obviously this is COVID. So we have a table read on Zoom with everyone in their respective countries. I was the only one from the UK, but everyone else was from like either South Africa or America, because the cast was predominantly from America. And so there's like Jay Farrow there, there's Sinqua, there's Christina Milian. And I'm like, and I'm doing this in my kitchen. And I'm thinking to myself, this is not real, surely. But anyway, yeah, I mean, Susie represented me on that deal. An agent in South Africa who looks after South African talent, because I didn't have one in the UK. And I went out and filmed Resort to Love in Mauritius.
This is fantastic.
No agent in the UK.
Amazing. Yeah.
No agent in the UK.
How was the experience?
Resort to Love is phenomenal for me, because it's kind of the beginning. It's a funny one, Resort to Love, because
it's like I haven't watched it. I'll be honest with you, but I watched the trailer. It looks like a very nice, like, sweetheart comedy.
Yeah, it is what it is. It does what it says on the tin. It's a romantic comedy, easy to watch, perfect for like a evening or a Sunday or something like that. It's a fun, easy to watch film, right? But what's amazing, we shot in Mauritius. I'd never been to Mauritius. Now, Mauritius is sun, sea, serenity. It's idyllic, right?
Everything that's not what we have outside.
Right, exactly,
right now.
And we shot that in December. I was out there, we started in November, and we shot my stuff in December. Now, Mauritius in December isn't like London in December. It's less sort of like chilly, grey and mince pies, and it's more like sitting in a toaster. It's more like that. It's very, very warm. I mean, the humidity levels are like biblical, right? It's that kind of level. You're as hot as old badgers, I'm telling you. It's super, super hot. And they had me dressed in this very, very cool designer outfit from LA. I absolutely loved it. I adored it. Until I didn't, because it was lined with like a sheepskin.
Oh my God.
So my scene was in a nightclub. And
it was, let's say, very active scene.
Yeah, it was physical, right? There's a physicality to it.
Yes.
And it was packed. So we're shooting this nightclub in Grand Bay, I think it was called, the area. Shooting this in the day, but it's a nightclub. You know, it's warm. And I'm in this thing, and the place is packed. We've got all the actors there, we've got all the extras, the lighting, the camera, the crew. It's full of people. And the lights are kind of bearing down quite a lot on me. And I'm wearing this designer LA outfit with some sort of sheep wool lining. God knows what it is. It's warm.
Well, you would think designer in LA should know what warm is.
You would hope so. This is the story of my life that I've noticed this now with my career so far, that I've become sort of known as the heat-based actor. Anything that requires a lot of heat, they seem to put me in, and I'm perspiring quite a lot. So with this, I mean, you know, what is great is we're in this club, but obviously there's air conditioning. But they can't be on because of the sound. Of course it can't. So now we're even hotter than we should be. Yes. So in between takes, this poor assistant is like running up with handfuls of tissues and one of those absolutely pathetic handheld fans. And I'm going, and she's like it's like an ant blowing in your face. It does nothing. And it's like, right, we're gonna go again. So I'm just like a big drippy mess, but it was great fun. And I remember obviously the main bit where I'm smashing the laptop. We had only 2 laptops. So the way we broke the scene up was that when we did the laptop smash, we had to be very
2 attempts.
Reviewable with what we did and just be on point. And the second one, I really, really wanted to go for it. And I remember I said to Stephen, the director, I'm going to really smash this down. And I went for it. All sweaty. All on, just bang, smash, and it exploded. The laptop went, and I saw shards of plastic, a space bar, and several letters go right over the crowd. And this one lady, man, she had the reflexes of a ninja. Oh, she went, and the space bar went, rocketed over her head. Fortunately, we got the shot and no one lost an eye. I lost about 2 liters of fluid, which is great because I looked really trim afterwards. But it was a great shoot, and that was my first proper one.
Honestly, it sounds like a dream. Definitely, it was incredible. Big project, like going to Mauritius. How long have you stayed there?
Well, this is what was great, right? Because it was COVID. I got a 6 or 7 week holiday. It was unbelievable because it was COVID. They were like, we just need you out there. So I was there for pretty much predominantly the whole shoot. I think I missed like 3 days because of the COVID. When you had to be in the hotel for like 2 weeks first or whatever. Yeah. And everyone got released a little bit earlier than me because they got there a few days before me. But predominantly I was there for the whole shoot. We all were. We just had to be there. So we all had dinner together. We went out together. We did activities together. Then these people became my friends. Like Jay in particular is a friend of mine. I consider him a friend. He helps me with stuff and I get advice from him. He's really, really cool. So you got to spend actual time with these people and you built up friendships. We all went out, went swimming together. I mean, my first experience of meeting Christina, I was snorkeling with her. How does that even happen to a kid like me? Like, I remember that happening. I went out the night before with Sinqua and Liz, and we went fishing, and it was really cool. And Sinqua was like super cool. He's like on the bay or the dock. He's like smoking, and we're fishing, and we're having a little chat. And there's a little baby shark. It was called Bruce. It was like as part of this hotel thing as a sharklet. And then Liz is like, "Come out tomorrow. We'll go snorkeling. You can meet my sister, which is Christina, because I hadn't actually met her yet." And I'd only been there 2 days. And I just remember like being on the beach and it was like, Kayne! And it was Christina Miliad. And then we went out snorkeling. It was just the weirdest kind of experience and amazing. Just the whole thing was amazing. And 7 odd weeks out there.
The question though, how did they come across you?
Well, this is the big question. I still to this day don't know. No one has told me. Even Susie doesn't know. So all she knows is my name somehow got across someone's desk. I don't know how because I had no UK.
Well, your name and probably your profile, your headshots are like.
Well, I'd been voicing for a number of years at that point. Voiceover work for a number of years, and I'd voiced stuff in America. Now I had voiced for some bigger names in the US. Perhaps it's that. No one has told me. It's one of those things. I even asked one of the producers, again, who became a friend of mine, and he won't tell me. I find that well weird.
Interesting.
But it's great. But I think it shows part of the hustle, and it also shows something else, that how weird is that even in your own country, though, you can't have someone, no one will represent you, but it takes someone in South Africa to get you a gig.
No, it's just, this industry, you never know what will happen because I spoke to also on the podcast with John Xuzhang. Okay. I hope I pronounced his name right. I'm really sorry.
Sounds
John,
good to me, man.
And he's this big martial artist, like Asian guy, and he was doing a lot of stunts and stuff, and he was trying to get more into acting, and then suddenly he receives a kind of almost like a self-tape for this Netflix project, Brother's Son. He ended up playing Blood Boots, and what he figured out, casting director saw him on someone else's showreel, and they're like, we need this guy. And now he's in Masters of the Universe, I think, the movie they made.
Masters of the Universe, that's the new one coming out.
Yes. So he's playing Rumman.
Amazing.
So as I said, but again, he's a martial artist, like he was a martial artist from childhood. You never know what will work out.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the way it works.
That's the thing. Like sometimes you might, when they say, well, this is one night success. No, it's not one night success. It's 20 years of hard work, and then suddenly maybe.
I think that's what people forget. It's like 20 plus years.
Yeah.
If you get it in your first 10, great. Ideally, which is the difference when you're from like a different background, maybe slightly more privileged, you can make that timeline shorter.
How do you deal with rejection? Which is a huge part of this industry.
It is a massive, do you know, it sounds really odd. I'm kind of built quite well for it because of my upbringing in many ways, but it was common in place. Rejection in a lot of different ways. Even like, I mean, it sounds awful to say, but even like my high school I went to, it was just a given that you weren't going to do anything. You weren't going to succeed.
Yeah.
So rejection was almost built in, which is not, I'm not recommending that. It's not a good way to be, but it means I'm quite adept to dealing with it. I'm like, okay, whatever. However, that being said, every project I get to audition for, I feel like I've already got it. which is a really weird mindset. And a lot of my friends have told me that's not healthy, but I like to feel like I've already got it. And then when I get rejected, I'm like, okay, well, you move on to the next one.
No, but like you feel when you do it, when you send the self-tape, maybe you feel like you already got it. But then do you still keep living with the same feeling? Like, I've got it. I got to hear about it.
It's maybe like for a couple of days. And then I'm like, oh, I haven't heard. Or my agent, I'll speak to my agent and he'll be like, well, I'll chase them or whatever. Yeah. But no, rejection is part and parcel. You get better at it as well. If you're not used to it, you will get better at it. A lot of it is just trying not to take it personally. But it is hard. It's very hard because every actor knows they can do that thing, but it's whatever that casting director or the director or the producers, they have a particular look or a particular style in mind, and you're trying to solve their problem for them, and sometimes they don't see that what you're delivering is quite right.
Yeah.
It's part of rejection. But rejection, I mean, it's what, 99% rejection?
Yeah, I would say so.
1% wins. You have to do 100 auditions to get one, right?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
No, it depends. It depends. Sometimes suddenly you got like 2-3 in a row, and then then you don't get anything for a year.
You're like, what happened?
What happened?
I just fell out of favor?
And you feel really good about your self-tapes, and like it's like, and you check them, like a year later, like, I gotta check this self-tape that I did a year ago, and you check it. Sometimes it's shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But sometimes you check it like, it was a good tape. I did what I could. You know what? It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your loss.
Yeah. That's a good way to be like, your loss. You know what you're missing.
Yeah. All right. And how did your career progress after the resort?
Well, it's a weird one because it kind of didn't in many ways. That's what's quite unusual. So I came back to the UK. And I thought, okay, I've got this Netflix thing coming out. Should be able to get a UK agent. Yeah. Surely.
Yeah.
I even had letters from the two main producers sort of saying this guy's good, recommending him. No. Could not get an agent. No one in the UK. And I did the same thing, knocked on doors, sent emails. Nothing. No one would. I cannot explain to you how disappointing that was and tough, but you just have to move forward and plow on.
You still haven't had the footage from the film, right?
I've got it.
Already got it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, even at this point, even later on. So I did a bit before, but I knew that was maybe a bit too early. Then I waited when a bit of the press started. I noticed the press had started happening, particularly in the States with Christina and Sinquar and Jay. So when that happened, I thought, this is a good time to start getting it. And then I got the footage. Netflix got me the footage.
Yeah.
Still nothing. No one would take me. And it took a while. And then I finally got one. And I was predominantly just doing like commercials and stuff.
Yeah.
In the UK, it was just pretty flat and dead. But the irony is I got a US manager before I got a UK. So once again, I'm not living in the States, but the US respond quicker.
Yeah.
And I get a US manager. Maybe that helped because then when they saw a US manager, then I got a UK agent. Don't know. I just find that very odd, but that's how it worked for me.
And then, you wrote your shirt. Heterogeneity?
I know. I feel like I did this on purpose. I wanted to pick something that everyone would struggle to pronounce.
First of all, English is not my first language.
Yeah, so it's even harder, right?
Yeah.
So heterogeneity.
Yes.
Heterogeneity. Yeah. I purposely wanted something that sounded quite pompous. So I wrote that. And that was just because I had a couple of friends. We just weren't doing a lot. Things were quite sort of dry at that time. So I was like, let's do something. So I wrote it and then we produced it and directed it. We did that in Ealing.
Yeah.
We shot that in Ealing, yeah.
Nice.
It was great. That was great fun.
Yeah.
And then it got into a festival and it's still in a festival run at the moment.
Yeah.
So that was kind of done out of a mixture of, because we know we've got the talent between the three of us, and also a mixture of frustration, I guess. It's like, we can't be hanging around for other people. We've got to produce and we've got to be creative, and we are creative.
Something.
So let's do something. Yeah.
Well, I'm doing this.
Right? So that's what it is. You've got to do something. You cannot just sit and wait for the phone to ring. And you don't need to. Yeah. In many ways, you can be proactive and do stuff. So that's what we did. Before that, I'd done some other bits and pieces like commercials. I did the one of the lead roles in The Night In. But still, you were like, you wanted to get more. You wanted to get more opportunities. So it felt like, well, let's produce our own. Let's make something that we're proud of.
Have you been writing before?
Yes, I've always written before. I used to write radio commercials for a long time. So that was, so with that is you have the discipline of you have to write. You can't have a day where you don't suddenly write, which kind of helps you. And I hear that with one of my favorite authors, Michael Connolly. He did the Harry Bosch series or still doing it, and like Lincoln Lawyer and things like that. He was from a journalistic background, and he has the same thing. So he churns out books after, book after book after book, a bit like Stephen King. And the discipline is because Michael Connolly was a journalist. You can't go to your boss one day and say, I'm not feeling it today.
Yeah.
So because of that discipline, I was able to write. And so I can write screenplays and write shorts. It just feels, it's not easy, but you just have to sit and get it done. So I'm writing a novel at the moment. I'm writing my first novel. I was like, I'm going to write a novel. So every day. So I've done a kind of dark comedy murder mystery.
Nice.
I wanted to go sort of classic British murder mystery, but with almost like a mix of The Office / Peep Show with a soupçon of like the Thursday Murder Club. It's kind of like that. Yeah. So it's like an Agatha Christie, but it's kind of R-rated because it's got extremely foul language. That's what I wanted to go with. So it's called The Christmas Office Party.
Sometimes when you watch some interesting stuff that is kind of not filtered, it's so hard to make yourself to write, PG-13.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to. I grew up watching those kind of ITV murder mysteries like Poirot. I love Agatha Christie. I think her stuff's great, but I loved all like the Poirot, the Miss Marple, which people are always surprised with, like, really? I love it. I love kind of the very quintessential British murder mystery stuff, and then you get your grittier end, which is like your Luthers, right? I love all that. And I thought there's a bit of a gap here. No one's ever done in my opinion, a book that's kind of like a British murder mystery, but with extremely flamboyant, foul language. So the character in my book is called Winston Maurice Montgomery. I wanted a really pompous name, and he's a really pompous character in many ways, but kind of likable. He's not necessarily the hero, but he's kind of lovable and likable, but foul language. So that's why I say it's like a Agatha Christie crossed with like a Ricky Gervais The Office. A bit of that.
It sounds great.
Yeah. So I'm nearly done it. I'm going to get it finished and then I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with it. I've got to get it out there.
And that's the thing, because as you know, I spoke to Tom Busden.
Yes, which I'm super jealous of, by the way. I have to be honest. And so Tom, if you're listening, I'd like to meet you.
But that's the thing. I asked him. I told to him, like, so, because I was a long time ago. I was writing back in I'm from Latvia. My native language is Russian. I was writing, short stories, fantasy stories in Russian, and they were not bad. I know they were not bad. Some were. But some were actually good.
Everything's not going to be great though, right?
Yeah.
It's just a process. You've got to get it. You've got to just get that out. Get it done.
And then I decided maybe I should try to write in English, which is harder, of course, because it's not my native language. But I realized that I actually can write in English. Then I would need someone to kind of fix some of this style and some to tell me, like, no one speaks like that apart from you. So you should write. But anyways, but then I realized, like, okay, so I have like a 6 episodes comedy series about actors, which again, I do understand right now that like when every actor start to write about actors.
Go for the easiest thing. That makes sense though, right? You
start with some good moments. Yeah. I know I can write, but then I have no idea what to do with it next. And I asked Tom, like, well, how to make it, to make someone who matters to see it. And he said, like, the best way to do it is probably to produce something like a short, a play, something that is visual. So because people hate reading, especially scripts.
Yeah.
Because script is not a book. No, it's a scheme of like how you will make a film.
Yes.
So that's one of the big questions about how to show your work to someone who matters.
Well, that's why, like with Heterogeneity, we wrote it and got it made. It was like, right now, let's try and get it to a festival, which is another massive barrier to entry festival. You got to pay for them.
Where did the idea come from?
So I mean, as you know, you can see I've got a lot of books. I'm a big reader. And I kind of love mythology. I do have a liking for mythology, theology, all that kind of stuff, murder mysteries. I've got books of all different genres on here. And I love fantasy. Yeah. Philip Pullman, Harry Potter and all that kind of stuff. I love all that escapism. But there's something about, in every culture, there is a mythology. Every culture has its own mythologies and spirituality and religions. every culture. It permeates every society. And what I've noticed more and more is it's become harder and harder for people to have a dialogue on that without shouting over each other, without throwing abuse at each other. And in some cases, it's become scary to engage in that conversation. You know, there's that old adage of you don't talk about politics or religion. That to me is a very bizarre thing to say when politics and religion is in every single culture, in every single country. Why would that be the topic off? And it's because people get so emotional about it. Yeah. So I thought, okay, there's something there to explore. And I had the idea for a while, but I was like, let's mess around with this. So let's get 3 guys. Now, obviously, as you know what these things are, you've got no money, right? No budget. So it's like, how do we do this? So it's like, I'm going to fix them in one location. It's just going to be
location that we own.
Yeah, location that we just, we're just renting it, sort of. Yeah. And fix them in one location so we ain't got to worry about different sets and things like that. 3 of us. I think the only thing that we paid for was the coffees. We had 3 coffees that day. That's about it.
And the gas.
That was it, yeah. And that was Nathan. He borrowed his girlfriend's car. Is it okay if we use a Mini? I was like, use a Mini. That's great. We'll use that. And
which, by the way, it looked perfect. Honestly, it looked perfect for this. Like, if you would have some kind of, I don't know, like a dark car that doesn't look like anything, it wouldn't work. This looked perfectly. When you just like start, closing in on the car, I was like, okay, I'm into it.
Very unassuming, isn't it? Just this white or cream Mini in an empty car park in Ealing.
Yeah.
It was great. And so the idea was just, let's get 3 guys in a car and have a theist, an atheist, and an agnostic. And they're going to have a conversation. And it's going to be quite civil. There's not going to be like shouting over each other.
Yeah.
And you're going to hear each one have a monologue, as it were. And it was just fun doing that. So I wrote it and we stuck completely to the script. That is exactly how I wrote it. And basically the idea was that we got to be able to show off in our show reels. So we do different accents and we mess around with the dialogue, of which everyone got to pick the kind of character they wanted.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And then it was just the surprise ending.
That's the thing, because because I watched it yesterday when I was preparing, and I was like, okay. And I'm into the dialogue because, I'm an atheist and I'm listening to all this, and when you're hearing the monologue like that, like the dialogue like this, as you said, I try not to speak about it with people, mostly like in real life, just because people get too emotional and and there is no point. You will not prove your point of view to do whatever.
But that's the point as well, right? So that's the thing. People get too emotional. And also, I think that's the issue. People enter the conversation trying to prove their point, and more importantly, trying to convert the other person. That is not what the conversation should be.
Yes.
It should just be a sharing of ideas. Yeah. And maybe, and hopefully, you will both learn something new.
Yeah, which usually doesn't happen.
Unfortunately not.
So, and now I'm watching it and now, I'm playing in my head some kind of my arguments that I would do, what I would say. And then, but then we come to the point and we can see all 3 of them. And I'm like, wait, what are they doing here? They should be here for a reason, because I was invested into the dialogue. They're like, whoa, what are you doing here? And obviously the ending, I don't want to spoil it, because when it comes out, we got to watch it.
We got to release it now because it's been at festival, so we can start putting it out.
Yeah. So the ending, I'm like, this is just brilliant, because after the topic that they were discussing, and this is the ending, I'm like, yes, this is so good.
It was really good because we sent it to our agents. Each one of us sent it to our agents. First of all, just to sort of see what they thought, and we sent it to a couple of friends. And I, one friend, Colin, and I sent it to a director, Anthony, and their responses were fantastic. And I think one of the nicest responses we had, 2 people said this actually, was it gave them Quentin Tarantino vibes at the end.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's a bit tasty. I like that. I'll take that.
Because also the type of dialogue that Tarantino likes, he is all into dialogue.
Yeah.
And the thing is about him and a couple more writers like this, when you think about it, people don't speak like that.
No.
It's because dialogues are too sharp, too smart, too good. And when you watch the film, you totally buy it. But if you think for a second about it would be dirtier or messier.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and then the ending, it kind of all comes together because he's in his films, people also talk about like things that are not connected to like the main story at all, but absolutely. The dialogue about so, and then you're like, yes, I do buy it.
Yeah. So we were really happy. I'm pleased it got you thinking. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing you want, right? You want you want people to have a reaction when they watch it, that they're, oh, maybe how do I think about this? Am I a theist? Am I atheist? Am I agnostic? And each one has these valid points of view. And there's funny bits in there. There's mixing some humor in.
Of course.
The character that Jack plays, he's called 3. So the characters have names because we filmed part 2 now already.
You already filmed it?
We already filmed it, yeah. So I wrote that straight away and we filmed that. And so the theme continues.
Yeah.
And obviously, because you want to know, well, hang on, what are they going to do next then? Because something's wrong. And also it shows, right, different points of view, but they're about to do the same act. Or they're about to do, the next thing is obviously something not correct or right, but they're all doing it.
Yeah.
And I think that's also the point, whether you have faith or don't have faith doesn't necessarily make you a better person. There's lots of questions there.
Yes,
There's lots
of
deep philosophical things you can think about, and what's really funny is the one line in there, I'll say, which is the one Jack says about being baptized into multiple faiths to hedge his bets effectively. Is a true story. That's a friend of mine has done that.
Oh, really? Yeah.
A friend of mine has been baptized in about 5. Jack's gone a few more, but he's been baptized in about 5 religions.
That's so interesting, because when I was watching it, like, it sounded like, okay, this is now like, fantasy.
No, he's not fan. He is legit. He has been baptized in 5 different faiths. As he says, to cover his bases. So I don't know. He's like been different churches and been like blessed and baptized wherever they have. Yeah. I mean, I kind of think it's kind of smart, really, isn't it? When you think about it, I mean, if you're going to do something, that's probably the way to go, right? Yeah. Maybe, I don't know.
Who knows? Because just like I read this story a long time ago, probably like 8-9 years ago. There were like a couple in America arrested for selling tickets to paradise, to heaven.
Wow!
To heaven, and like it was like on golden paper, like
a Willy Wonka ticket.
Yeah, something like that. Like, and they sold it for like $100. And if you think about it, $100 is a lot of money, but at the same time, if it works. If it works, it's totally worth it. And if it doesn't, it's not as much money.
That's one way of looking at it. I might have to write that into the next film I do. I feel like with a lot of my writing, it will involve those kind of theological and philosophical questions.
Yeah.
Because I find them fun. Like that, like what you just said there is great. I mean, that just gets me thinking straight away. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because it happens. You see it all the time in certain churches where they're getting people to hand over lots of money.
Yeah.
And those people are trying to, I would say, it's some sort of trying to purchase hope. That's kind of what it is. And that's what a lot of this all is hope, right?
Yeah.
And that stuff is interesting to explore.
Yeah. Hope and some kind of understanding of meaning.
Yeah.
Just like having a meaning.
Everyone wants a meaning.
Yeah.
Everyone wants that. A meaning for life, which is weird because your life in itself has meaning just for you being here.
Yeah.
So you're trying to search for something external. I love all that
validation of being meaningful yourself.
That's what art's for, though. I find that you find that in art. There's so much meaning in art. There's so many conversations in art. You go to a museum and you see it. Paintings, TV, film, music.
But at the same time, like for you, it might be meaningful, like you creating something meaningful. And some people will definitely understand it and see it. But some people will just pass by without even noticing it, and it's nothing for them, which means everyone has their own idea of meaning of whatever. Like some people want to be parents, some people don't want to be parents.
Yeah.
Like that's probably where religion comes in for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So that's I like to explore those kind of themes. I find them fun.
So will there be like a whole series?
Well, this was the thing, right? It wasn't meant to be, really. That wasn't the idea. And we had such a good response from some fellow actors, agents, and then Anthony, who's directing like Peaky Blinders, that I was like, maybe we should do something. And one of them said, you should push it further. And so we did. So I wrote part 2 and we filmed that and done that. And I've finished writing part 3. The idea is, I think it almost, in many ways, it's almost a bit of testing ground you could almost put it as a series, like a BBC series, and say, look, we could turn it into a series, a bit like Mad Dogs. I don't know if you ever saw Mad Dogs. Kind of gives me that kind of vibe a little bit now. I would love to turn that into a series, like for someone, but you know,
it could be a feature. This scene could be like a beginning of a feature film.
Yeah.
Or beginning and the end. Or the end. I mean, like, you know, it could be looped.
Well, that's the thing. I've messed around with. In the second one, it's you get more details. We have 2 new characters brought in. We have different locations, and we actually move the camera. So we up the ante, right? Yeah. This one was all static and fixed. So for the second, I was like, we've got to push ourselves as filmmakers, and also I've got to push myself in the writing. So we added in some funny bits. So even the beginning, I'm going to tell you because I think it'll be fun. The beginning is completely different to what you'd expect. And what would you expect to see as the first scene?
No, I mean, like, I would say, okay, we'll have kind of spoilers for the
we have spoilers.
It's still worth to watch. Like, even if you know the very ending, they go rob it's a robbery.
No. So what I've done is the first scene. I'm going to give too much away, but the first scene is a young boy putting on headphones and dancing in the streets to some jazz music. That's the first scene.
Okay, it's abduction?
Nope. And the three guys are outside a church. That's the opening scene.
You know, I want to watch it. I want to watch it now. I want to know more.
It's really different, and it pushes it further. It makes sense, but it's even visually it's different. And obviously with that, we had the camera moving. We had it all on like a steady cam moving as the kid's dancing through these streets, and the kid is like just free. And then there's these 3 guys outside this church looking a bit nervous. That's how it starts. And I remember when I wrote it, the guys were like, "Whoa, did not see this coming." I was like, "Yeah, man, I want to think differently." Yeah, I've always kind of done that. I guess that's like the whole make a fake agent, hustle your way in.
No, but this is not hustling your way in. This is working your way in. Honestly, in this industry, I think you still have to hustle a little bit. That's the thing, like, I catch myself that sometimes it's so hard for me to kind of even go into some events and, you know, try to network with people. And like, I don't know how to speak to people. I don't know that I don't have, like, right now, you know, we just met today, but we're doing this, so it's very easy for me. Yeah. If we would meet some event for actors or somewhere, like, and I wouldn't know it would be kind of like, oh, why would I come over to him? Why would he want to talk to me? It's so hard. And there is so much in this industry of that. Yeah. And it takes a lot of energy to get into anywhere.
Yeah. It does. Yeah. No, yeah.
All right. The Night In.
Oh, wow.
Tell me about it.
What can I say about The Night In? So it's a British independently financed and produced film. Yeah. And we were really fortunate. The crew are like elite in many ways. They've worked on huge projects, like from Indiana Jones to Star Wars to Bond. They had all worked and continue to work on massive stuff. So we were very, very fortunate. Yeah. But it's a funny project. I remember when I got the script, I loved it. And I have a thing about when I'm studying the script, and I decided my character Zach was going to be the cousin to Jay from The Inbetweeners. That full of bravado but no follow through. Yeah. You know, that was Zach. I was like, this is Zach. He's related to Jay. Obviously, he's a cousin of Jay from The Inbetweeners. So I used that as kind of my foundation, and it just made a lot of sense, and it really helped me in building the character further and building that story for him. But it was a fantastic film to do. I've kind of realized as well, I've noticed now with the stuff I do, at least once per project, I will land up in some state of undress, generally nude, and sticky and wet. That seems to be the reigning theme of my career. Well, it's either one. I'm either dressed in a turtleneck, completely covered, or I'm naked. There's no in between anymore, and I'm generally wet as well. And so this was no exception. So we had this one scene. We had many, but we had this one scene, and it involved me being in my boxer shorts and, let's just say, an ambitious amount of fluids. And I'm absolutely drenched in this sticky, watery liquid in these boxer shorts. And the director says, "Oh, we need to do another take. So we've got to go again." So Mark, who directed it, says, "We've got to go again." Okay, so I get taken off to the side, and the unsung hero is Susie, who looked after the wardrobe. She has to dry my boxer shorts for me between the takes whilst I'm still in them.
I think I saw a video on your Instagram.
I can tell you right now, both of us in that moment were questioning our life choices. There is a photo of her, and she's there, like she's got her hand sort of, slightly up the boxer short, pulling it off my leg.
Yeah.
Hair drying it. We're making no eye contact. We are making no eye contact at this point. I'm like, ooh. And she's there, like, probably questioning everything she's decided to do up to this point. Like, well, how did I get here? So, like, one moment I'm in the scene, I'm like a leading man, and the next thing I'm her damp project that she's got to deal with. But that seems to be the constant thing. And I had it again recently. I was in Slovenia shooting, and that might be the video you might have seen, because that was the one that was videoed.
Yeah.
That was with Ivana. Ivana was amazing to work with. But again, once again, I'm now bent over a table, completely wet, in my boxer shorts while she's drying my ass. Ivana was very different to Susie though, because Ivana just cracks up laughing, pissing herself. Yeah. And I'm there like, what is happening to my life? How have I got here? So I'm always wet and nude with some poor lady or assistant drying me with a hairdryer, either not making eye contact or just laughing.
Life of an actor. But no, it's not the usual thing. I never...
You don't think it's become usual to me? That's the glamour of filmmaking for me now. I've noticed that seems to be the thing. We're going to either have him dressed in like a turtleneck, so completely covered. I hate wearing turtlenecks as well. Or we're going to have him naked. And obviously in the night in, I have a nude scene.
All right.
So I'm just constantly.
Tell me more about the project itself. Like, what is it like, and how did it happen?
So it's kind of like, what is the worst thing that could happen on a night in there with your mate? Like the worst thing that could possibly go wrong. Yeah. And it's a very much a silly, but also got very dark elements. It's like a thriller horror, but with dark comedy moments, and my character in particular brings the dark comedy. It was great for me. I loved doing it because it's the first time I got to use kind of my natural voice, or like my UK accent. It's maybe slightly more heightened. I did heighten it a little bit and maybe make it more London in certain places, but everything before that has always been American. So I enjoyed that aspect of it. I enjoyed the aspects because the funny moments for me, I thought these are great, and I hadn't really been able to play comedy moments like that before. A lot of the time you probably see this, sometimes you get typecast, right? And you get those kind of roles where you're the drug dealer or the gangster or whatever. And I was like, this is completely removed from that. And I'm going to get to say these words. And I thought the script was great. I was like, this script is great. They've been really creative with their language, and it's foul and it's funny, and it's going to appeal to like an audience of like that people like maybe liked American Pie and liked In-Betweeners in particular, but also like those horror and thriller elements, because it throws that in. So it's a bit of a genre twist. And then just to work with this great crew that you would heard about that had worked on massive projects like Indiana Jones and all that kind of stuff. And you think, well, this is a great opportunity. And so it just came the way that most things do, in the sense of I got an audition through my agent, which was Nina at the time. And I went, and I remember I got to go in person and had to do like a dancing scene. And I remember doing this crazy dance move, and it felt really good. And then we got put in like a little ensemble of people, and we did it again. And you get a feeling that something's right, but you never know. And then, it was like a week later, got the call, and it was great. One thing I will say about that project was very unusual and very interesting, and something that I was very thankful for is we got one whole week of rehearsal, which is unheard of, right?
Yes.
You never get rehearsal. You get rehearsal once you're there on set. They're like, okay, well then we're just going to run through it once.
Yes.
That's your rehearsal, right?
Yeah.
This was 1 week of us, the three of us in particular, with the director, with the DP, going through the script, figuring out all the beats, figuring out where we want to move, figuring out motivations, figuring out stakes.
Yeah.
It was like theatre.
It's amazing, honestly.
I could not believe that. It was so good. 1 whole week of that before
you never get that. I think you only get that with people like maybe Quentin Tarantino or indie.
Yeah, and this is an indie project. So, because of that, they're now trying to sell it, and we'll see where it goes. I really want people to see it. I've seen a slight cut of the film, like a rough cut. I saw it ages ago, but I know it's fine. It's done now.
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting.
Nice.
It'll be interesting. It's definitely no one's seen me like this before, which is funny. But yeah, like I said, I based it off Jay. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. But it's going to be weird, right? Because I know what I did, and I know what we did. When you see someone, how they edit it and how they piece it together, it's almost like watching something different, I think.
Sometimes it's magic.
Yeah, sometimes it makes you look
like,
much
well,
better.
I don't remember. Like, they really chose the best bits. They maybe look good. Sometimes they're like, really, you chose that take? I remember I did one that was better, but then you start thinking about, like, first of all, it's not about you, so shut up.
Yeah, and it's whatever they've seen. They've seen something different that you haven't. It's weird, isn't it?
And like, and it's just how is it for you watching yourself?
I'm okay. This is a funny. I know a lot of actors hate it. I think because I've come from a voiceover background, I'm so used to hearing myself.
Yeah.
That it didn't feel too unnatural. It's not like I'm going out of my way to do it, but it doesn't bother me. I think it helps you a little bit to see your performance, especially if you thought you were able to transmit something across, and then you see it and you're like, that's not come across. Something's not hit right. So I think it's part of the job of, especially if you're doing screen in particular, I think you need to assess your performance in the sense of, if I was trying to push forward that emotion or make sure that emotion was received, because you can feel all you want internally. If the camera's not picking it up, the audience might not pick it up. And so I think there's sometimes, it's not always going to help, but I think generally it's part of the craft. A bit like Tom Cruise always says, you should start to learn your lenses. You should learn your lenses. You don't understand when they're talking about a master shot, things like that. And I think it's part of the discipline that, maybe you should learn that stuff. It doesn't mean you've got to become an expert at it, but you should be aware of it.
You need to understand, like, if they're shooting a master or a close-up, like, it's very different.
Yeah.
Even, like, how much you can move.
Yeah, it's stillness in the frame is highly important, which is why I always say to someone, don't be afraid to watch yourself, because it can only but help, I think. Even in 1% improvements, I think it can help.
I think even if at first it feels like it doesn't help because it's hard for you to watch yourself, it will help you to get used to watching yourself, and then you'll be more objective, hopefully. But the thing is, as well, what I've noticed, like, I've been so unhappy with so many of my performances, and then I spoke to people who didn't need to lie to me or even give me any compliments because I didn't even ask them, and they were seeing something in it that I didn't. So sometimes you're not the objective judge of yourself.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, it's always nice to get a second opinion if you can.
And camera does pick up something, unless you're really bad and you feel awkward in the frame. People will fill the gaps in.
Well, that's what you need. You need the audience a lot of time to fill the gap in for you. You need them to do it. But I don't know what you feel. I don't know if you feel the same. Audiences are very different now. I think that the taste for cinema has been diluted by reality TV and the rise of social media. People, I don't know. It just feels like people want the answers given to them. They don't explore it the same way. That's one thing I've noticed. And I've heard that from other people, that no, you've got to really show them the emotion because they're not going to get it. And I think that's quite sad. So it's figuring out the balance of, well, it's internal and they should be reading it and maybe they should project it onto the characters. It's an odd balance. And I think that a mixture of that is because of reality TV, because it's so over the top.
I also think it's because of social media and like the shorts, the doom scroll of just like the shorts. Like now it's longer on YouTube. I think you can make short up to 3 minutes, but it was like 1 minute, and it's shorter than like 45 seconds. You need to put everything into 45 seconds, and people, because I spoke about it to my kids, and my oldest son is 17, my twins are 15, and they're and they do spend a lot of time in shorts. I can't just tell, no, you can't, but you kind of try to stir them somewhere, and when it just feels like they don't have enough patience for something real, and I caught myself on that. I am on YouTube, which is ironic.
The irony.
The irony there is huge, but at the same time, like I got myself, sometimes you're just like, I'll just watch this short, like, and then 3 hours later, like, fuck.
Yeah.
Whoa, 3 hours, and I don't remember anything from it. Just like, this quick dopamine, nothing. I just lost 3 hours. I had some emotions through. I laughed a couple of times, maybe something like made me, like teary or whatever. But at the same time, I just lost 3 hours of my life, and I didn't get anything. My life didn't become better.
Yeah, you don't gain anything.
And like, you don't get real emotions. And it feels like people who got used to this, they don't have enough patience and time to go and watch like a 2 hours movie. For them, it's like 2 hours.
Yeah.
But when you watch 2 hours of like good story, it actually gives you something emotional, and maybe like it gives you some, you know, some new ideas. You figure out world, like you get to be empathic to something.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I think we're losing it. And maybe I'm just this old man like, my time it was different. But I feel like maybe it is, maybe just world changes, but I'm a bit afraid.
Well, I think there is a decline in like film literacy, as it were. I mean, so many of the older films that people haven't seen, you think, man, they're so good to see. But, you know, that tastes change and things do move. And I think you're seeing a rise, I don't know if you've seen it, a rise in vertical series. Maybe that is the shift. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
And it's not to say it's better or worse, but things shift.
Worse. I'm just going for a laugh, but
I'm sure it just shows a shift, doesn't it, in audiences and what they want. I mean, you had it for years ago. Like TV was the thing you didn't get involved in. It was just seen as shit. It was seen as just such a poor medium. Film was the pinnacle, and then you know that slowly shifted. I mean, when things like Entourage and Broadway, when they started doing that, it was like, whoa, we're making film quality TV series now. And then, you know, and you've got these huge series. I mean, look at things like Succession. You know, TV's almost, I'd say TV's probably better than cinema now. We're probably in that way. We're probably switched.
In many ways, because you have much more time to just develop characters, to open the characters, to screw everything up. I mean, like we had amazing 7 seasons of Game of Thrones and good 8 seasons, and then we had the end. Was it season 9 the end or season 8 the end? But basically, the final season, I was so disappointed.
Everyone was. Have you seen? There's a video going around of. It's probably been going around for a while of like a table read when they all the crew, the cast, read that scene, and one of the actors was like, throws the script in the middle, and once he's done, he's like, oh, fuck this. And they look so distraught. Like, just spent 8 years for that.
No, but to be fair, like at the same time, you know, I think that they're doing a good job now with Three Body Problem. I think they just got tired of, you know, the Game of Thrones, and there was a promise of Star Wars film that they were supposed to film that got cancelled at some point. And I think maybe they were like, nah, it's fine. We just need to finish. And honestly, the development of characters, even like what Khaleesi did in the very end, like, give her 2 seasons of becoming crazy. Yeah, it would be quick. Fine, but now she's just like, well, my nephew doesn't want to sleep with me. I will burn kids. Sure, yeah.
She still did an amazing job with that, right?
No, as an actress, Emilia Clarke, yeah.
She's very good.
I think they all, like, as actors, you can, like, as an actor, I could make it work for me.
Yeah.
Even though if I would think, like, this is bullshit, but I can make it work and find emotional, you know, like staying like.
Would you want to be in a TV series, a long-term TV series like that?
I would. Look, unfortunately, right now, I get to act maybe once or twice a year in small roles.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
I would love to. Like, that's what I want to do. I love acting. I love to be in front of camera.
But would you prefer film over a TV series? What would be your preference? If your agent came to you and said, look, we've got this TV series, they want to lock you in for like a 7-year deal, or a film, you know, that you'll do in a few months?
You know, it depends on many things. It depends on kind of what I would think about the series and the film. Maybe I would think like, you know, this film will open or close all the doors. But no, honestly, I would love to be a part of a TV series.
Yeah.
First of all, you get to know the character. You get to. It sounds so like I get to know the character, you know, but you do. You kind of like you understand, like with every year, maybe you kind of know more and more, and it's easier, and you get, you know, like you. I love series nowadays. I love to watch series more than I love films. I love films. It's like it's my passion, but at the same time, I just enjoy series because you get to know that, like, there are series that I watch for comfort, and to be in something like that. And to know, because I know, I love How I Met Your Mother, for example. It's one of my most favorite sitcoms. I just love it so much.
Nice.
And I know the actors at some point, they were like, we kind of get tired for like 8-9 years doing the same thing.
Yeah.
They want to move on, and maybe like at some point they don't realize how much the series might mean to people because they do something amazing, even if it's a silly sitcom. But for me, like I watched How I Met Your Mother when I'm sad, when I'm depressed, when I'm happy, when I want to show it to someone, to my kids, to like to a partner, to whatever. It does mean a lot, and I think you can get caught in a moment and don't understand how like that what you do is means something that I would want to be a part of something like that.
It's really funny. The comedies I love and I would love to be a part of. One of them was what Armando wrote, which was The Thick of It. You ever see that?
I don't think so. No.
Man, that's so funny.
Yeah,
that's so funny. Thick of It is great. And then I like classic comedies like Only Fools and Horses.
I haven't watched it.
My son started watching that. He absolutely loves it. He knows the theme tune and everything. That kind of stuff. But a TV series now would be fantastic, I think, because you can deep dive into that and stick with it for a while. And and obviously you can try and break it up with other bits, other projects. But there's something I think that's very satisfying about seeing a character through, surely.
Yeah, unless, and again, it's the same thing that we spoke with Tom Boston about it. When you go on for like 7, 8, 9 years, you run out of stories, and you start to kind of reuse then there is a earthquake, or like there is a hostage situation, or this, or characters just start to degrade. Like in 2.5 Men, the character of Alan, he was likable in the beginning. He was funny, he was like a little bit pathetic, but he was likable. By the end, he became just like this unlikable parody of himself.
I think there's lots of external factors probably influence that entire production though as well. I think everyone just lost the will to live on it, which I think happens as well. I think maybe a combination of not introducing other creative energy, but also perhaps like not moving it forward in a creative way and staying quite stagnant. I think that project had a few issues.
The thing is, the funny thing is, like, first of all, when what's his name, the guy who came in instead of Charlie Sheen,
Ashton Kutcher.
Actually it became better for a little bit when he came in, because this novelty. But at the same time, I've read and I watched some interviews with people like before Charlie Sheen had his episode.
Have you seen his documentary?
No.
I know, it's really interesting.
Everyone said that he was incredibly professional. He was always incredibly nice on set. He knew everyone's names. He was like very, very but then, the incident happened. He had his
Charlie Sheen, man, you can't fault him for some of the stuff he's done, like in the sense of the creative works he's done. They're really good. I mean, Wall Street. Fantastic. Like he's a good actor.
He is a good actor. Yeah, of course. I mean, like he's a nepo baby, but I don't see anything wrong with that, because he was exposed to that world. Like, he was exposed to that world from childhood. Obviously, he probably got a lot of from his family, his father, and
of course, But I mean, look, come on. I think people get caught up in that, but you would. You've got an opportunity.
That's why he's better at it.
And to be fair, a lot of people generally follow the careers that their parents have done. Their parents might get them into like the family business, or they might work in the same company. Like that kind of naturally happens. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's the best thing, and it does create a lot of barriers for other people, but man, I'd be a nepo baby any day of the week. I'm like, man. I think the problem is when you see those that have got it and they clearly are not passionate about it, or even trying to get better at it. I think that's the problem. And you do see a lot of that, a lot of wastage, I would say. They get put in projects because it brings money in, but they don't really add creative talent to it.
But I think, honestly, it's still a business. No one will give you a role on a silver platter just because you are someone's son. If you just times and times again, you don't bring it. Because someone puts money into it, and if they realize that from the business point of view you're not good, even though your dad or mom or whoever like are good and like have some influence, it will end at some point. And most of them become amazing, like Robert Downey Jr.
Oh man,
he's phenomenal. right?
Yeah, he's done some some really good stuff. I mean, obviously Iron Man's like the one everyone talks about. I really I watched this with my son, Chaplin.
Yeah.
You've seen that when he did that?
Yes.
That
He
was great.
amazing. And even in Nolan's
Oppenheimer. Yeah.
he was, and he got Oscar for it.
I think he did, yeah. He was solid in that. Very different from obviously what he's played for the past few years of Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Very different.
Yes.
Which is great because you can see that in Cillian Murphy, obviously, was pretty decent in that as well.
Yeah, I mean, most actors who are in Nolan's film are pretty decent.
He's pretty good at picking up. Yeah. He's pretty solid with that one. We need to find out who his casting director is. We're like, come on now.
Yeah, honestly, it would be a dream to be in Nolan's. Well, you see, here's the thing. If it's a choice between Nolan's film or a series, that's where I would think about.
Is Nolan on your list of like directors? Do you have like a list of directors?
I don't have a list of
You like their stuff, but you'd also want to work with.
I would love to work with him. Yes, I think he's phenomenal. I think he's really good at what he does, and he knows what he wants.
Yeah,
and that would be great to work with him, of course. I mean, but at the same time, there are so many actors, so many directors that I would love to work with.
You got like a little top three? I always ask this every time. I ask for top 3 actors, top 3 directors.
Top 3 actors.
Can you hear my dog barking?
Yeah, it's fine.
Sorry if you can.
No, it's okay. Top 3 actors. I would love to work with Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy, okay.
And I've heard a lot during the years.
Yeah.
I mean, like since 10 years ago it started, people were telling me that I look like him a little bit, which I think is kind of, now it's not even close. I'm better looking.
Savage, I love it. You can play his younger brother.
I could, but he can play all his brothers and sisters since the legend.
You'd like to work with Tom Hardy, would you?
I would love to work with him.
Yeah.
I mean, look, people like Denzel, it's like, of course I would love to work with Denzel. Or Paul Giamatti, I would love to work with him.
Yeah, good one. Yeah.
There's so many. What's your top 3?
Delroy Lindo. Oh, I think he is fantastic. He was in like Malcolm X, done a lot of stuff with Spike Lee, and Spike Lee would be a director for me. Yeah, Delroy Lindo is incredible in everything he does. He was in The Five Bloods with Chadwick. You saw that?
No, I don't think so. No.
Fantastic actor, fantastic. Really about Stephen Graham. Stephen Graham, solid actor.
Yes.
Like, and also if you look at his work ethic, he's just constantly put in the work. Like you would have seen him appear in lots of things over years or decades.
Yeah.
Those kind of bit parts and then bigger roles, but he's just always put in the work, and then finally now I think he's getting more of like recognition. But Stephen Graham's solid. And a really random one, because I just find him very funny, is Roger Allam, who was in one of my favorite films, The Hippopotamus, which is a comedy written by, the book, was written by Stephen Fry, and they turned it into a comedy. He's a very, very British actor, and he's in the thick of it. He's in a lot of stuff. You would have seen him. He's been in lots of things on TV and film. Yeah. But man, do I find him, there's something about him. He's a great actor, but it's just something funny, that kind of British quirkiness and sort of uncomfortableness that a lot of those British people have. It's just, they're uncomfortable in their own skin. I don't know. There's something about him that's just wonderful and wacky and this great combination. And I kind of like him. I have weird taste in different things as well. Like, so yeah, Spike Lee would definitely be a director for me because he does some interesting things.
Yeah.
I think he's quite controversial as well. Kind of like that. Nolan, I love what he does. I think he messes with time in a lot of his things. I love that. And I like the conversation he has around time and exploration. I think that's fascinating.
What would be the genre that you would love to work most in?
You know, I haven't really thought particularly, because I've been fortunate that I've done obviously like a rom-com, then we've done Heterogeneity, which is kind of like a thriller maybe. Then we've done The Night In, which is a thriller horror, but with plenty of dark comedy elements. So I'm kind of traveling that road of thriller, maybe. I do like thrillers. I've always liked thrillers. So probably thrillers where I'd like to explore more.
Yeah.
Comedy is fun. I mean, you know, like when you've been on set with like Tom and on Here We Go Again, and comedy's fun to explore. So I don't know. I don't think I've got a particular genre. I just want to get involved in it.
With comedy, there is so much pressure though.
In the sense of what, to hit that beat of that comedic timing?
Funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do a lot of improv, right, on that show?
No.
Or did they not do improv?
No. I mean, like, they did most of improv. I mean, like, I had 3 lines. I did all the jar opening was in between them having their dialogue. I couldn't really improvise too much. Like that,
Okay.
I did. There was like a couple takes I did improvise something they didn't. It's not in the final cut. It's my line, but in general, it's. When I watched the episode, obviously you're watching yourself first of all.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm not funny. It's nothing. It's great. But then you start noticing things that happen around you, and you're like, oh, that's what's funny. It's like I was just there for them, not like the scene wasn't for me. It's the other way around.
Yeah.
That's what you need to understand. Like in episodes like that.
Yeah.
Unless you are like the star of a comedy, like if you're like the first guy on the list, then you should be funny.
Yeah.
If it would be...
It's hard, right? Because you could probably do any genre.
Yeah.
But you're asking for like a specific genre, like to nail it down. I mean,
like if it would be your dream project, something that you would like, let's say it's a project that you would be remembered for. That's like what the genre you would choose.
I would love to do a true story.
Yeah.
A natural true story I think would be good. Yeah. Something you're going to be remembered for. I think there's something about that. If you get a true story genre. Something based on true events.
Yeah. Yeah, so not sci-fi, not fantasy.
Well, now you say that though. That's the thing, right? Because I love the fantasy realm, especially in books.
Yeah.
So I would love that. I mean, I'd love to play Sirius Black in the new Harry Potter series. That surely's up for grabs now with the casting they do. But yeah, I mean, fantasy would be great.
Yeah.
A proper decent fantasy. I always think if you've got the book, that's the key. If they can stick as close to the book as possible, I think that's the best with them when you build the fantasy world. Yeah. So I would love, I love all that stuff. I've grown up with that
Witcher.
Stuff. Oh, Witcher. Yeah, that starts as well, doesn't it? New Witcher out there.
Yeah, but I mean, like, have you heard? Like, it's a very problematic project. There is a lot of controversy about the I don't know how much of it is true, but like they're saying that writers and creators are not really respectful to Andrzej Sapkowski's work, the author. Really? And they say it's just rumors. I don't know if it was confirmed or not, but they say that Henry Cavill left because he wanted it to be as close as possible to the books.
Right, okay.
And they took a lot of liberties.
This is the hard thing, right? Is when you're adapting a novel, how close you stick to it. Do you take those creative liberties? Do you not? Because obviously you've already got the fan base built in. You want them to come across. But if that's the first fan base, if that's the fan base you lose quite quickly, yeah, I don't know. I thought the Witcher series was decent.
I liked the first season. Second season, I liked a little bit less. Third season, I watched it. And the funny thing, like at some point, I was like, oh, I need to watch the third season of Witcher. And I turned it on and I watched the first episode like halfway through. I'm like, I did watch it already. I don't remember anything.
I don't know if that's a good sign. That's probably a bad sign, right?
and look, I'm a gamer. I don't know if you play video games, but like
I do like video games. I'm not
Witcher 3 is probably one of the best games ever.
Wow,
that I ever played. I mean, and Cyberpunk 2077 is my most favorite game. Both for the same company, actually.
Okay.
And it's just like huge open world. And characters are amazing. Writing is good. The story is just like, it made me cry like a baby at some point.
Wow, okay, that's good then.
It's just wonderful. And your choices in the game actually matter because from what you choose, it depends what kind of ending you will get, like, and what will happen to the characters. And just like, it's so masterfully written and done game.
Yeah.
And then when you're watching Witcher series and you don't remember the season,
that's not good.
It's not the best one. So but that's I agree with you. It's a balance. It's different media, books and films, and you have to make changes. And then where to stop and where to understand. Like if a fan isn't happy, is it because they just can't accept anything different, or because they're reasonable. I don't know how to do it.
It is a hard balance. I think it's hard, but fantasy, as a genre, is a great one to explore. I mean, I definitely want to do fantasy. Anything with dragons would be cool. I've done a lot of comedy. I mean, I did comedy, even like comedy skits and stuff. Lots of them. I did one where we shot in Vegas.
Tell me.
It's really weird. So we went to Vegas in September, which if you've never been, is like trying to act in an air fryer. It's incredibly hot.
Yeah.
Like desert standard. Yeah,
we have a theme here, I think. Yeah.
This is what I mean. This is what I'm saying. My niche is heat-based acting. Anything hot, I'm your man.
Yeah.
And I remember for some reason, the costume designer had obviously confused the Mojave Desert with like a gentleman's club in London in November, because they had me wearing a red crushed velvet blazer with corduroy trousers, black corduroy trousers, and like a neck, but a silk neck scarf. So basically, they had constructed an outfit of insulation in 42 degrees of heat. It was horrendous. Yeah. I mean,
42.
I would catch glimpses of myself. I looked like a Temu Oscar Wilde who was lost in the desert. Absolutely ridiculous. And we got onto set, and as you can imagine, in this outfit, 40 plus degrees, my body decided to mount a full-scale protest. It had said, no, we can't do this. And I had sweat just instantly pouring from places that only God knows. And you know it's bad, right? You know it's bad when your knees start to sweat. Yeah. That's the telltale sign that things have gone wrong. And I mean, we were doing the scene and I'm just dripping with sweat. And as soon as a shout cut, I would basically, like as fast as humanly possible, just get this blazer off, pull my trousers down. I would be like Hulk, just ripping clothes off just to get air to my body.
Yeah.
But we're in Vegas and there's busloads of tourists going by and they're looking out the window and thinking, so there's pictures of me out there, right? Shirtless, gasping, just sweating everywhere, looking like a shiny glazed ham. I must look miserable. I don't really know, even now, if they knew we were filming or if they just thought I was one of those weird Vegas street acts. Really weird. But I remember that night, sort of in the spirit of rewarding ourselves, because we'd survived the heat and we hadn't killed each other. No one got severe heat stroke. We went to downtown Vegas, and Vegas didn't disappoint. Yeah. Within the hour, we were offered every delicious and nauseating vice known to man and womankind. And the real show started at the roulette table, because that was an interesting experience. I got to witness my wallet receive open heart surgery, and I saw my entire day's earnings evaporate in 42 minutes.
Oh my God.
And so basically at the end of that, all I had left was the casino branded toothpick. And I remember, oh God, I remember stumbling back a bit half cut to the hotel, still damp from the blazer of death earlier, broke with my little toothpick. But I remember walking down Fremont Street, or stumbling down Fremont Street. And I was thinking to myself, well, you know what, Harrison, you right now might be the biggest loser on Fremont Street, but there's a dignity in that because you look good. That's why
you do.
It was a great shoot. It was a great shoot in Vegas. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's my niche, heat-based acting. If you need a man to perspire convincingly, dressed in luxury fabrics, whether that's a tracksuit from LA or red crushed velvet blazers, this is your man.
You're British American or American British?
British American, yeah.
British American. How was your connection to America?
My father's American, so mother's British, father's American. Yeah.
Are you in America often?
Not as often as I'd like, I'd say. A lot more a few years ago. I was in America at least once or twice a year. But it's been a couple of years.
What's your take on like difference between Britain and America? If you would have to explain to someone who doesn't know either.
That's a deep question. That's complicated.
Because the thing, I've been to America twice. Once in New York for a week for work, back when I was had a job. And then also in LA. In LA, by the way, I was very unlucky because we went in February, which doesn't matter for LA. It's still warm and sunny and whatever. But we went there, me and Tom, my colleague, and it's February here, so I'm wearing warm jacket and everything. We come to LA, I think I gotta take it off now. And we get out and it's just it's the same. It's windy, it's rainy, and it's cold. And we're like, what the hell? And the guys were like, it never happens here. Why? I don't know.
You took the weather with you. You're welcome.
Yeah. We spent a week there. And the thing is, obviously, it's not enough time to understand America. No. And I love New York.
Yeah, New York's cool.
It's just this city with absolutely different vibe. I loved it. But at the same time, it's everything is American. Everything is big. Yeah. Everything is Michael Bay of films. Everywhere. The American flags are everywhere. Yep. It's you guys know you live in America. Why you didn't need a reminder every time? Yeah. And everything you turn on TV, everything is just explodes, screens, so much color. In comparison to here, it's just everything more dry and it's
muted. Yeah.
And it's just what's your.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty fair. It's funny because I kind of straddle both cultures, really. Yeah. America's just bigger, louder, more brash, I'd say. Just a bit more ballsy in some of the things they do. New York is up there as one of my favorites. I really like New York. I think the first thing you realize with New York is you get a neck ache because you realize how tall everything is and you're like this. So New York is definitely a favorite of mine. I love it. City that never sleeps. It's incredible. Chicago's really cool. Love Chicago. Big fan of that. But probably my favorite. Probably my favorite because the vibe is Miami. Woo!
I've heard it's too hot.
Miami is absolutely banging. Yeah, I was a big fan of Miami. I just think it's. I don't know. It's just louder. I guess in a lot of ways louder. The flag thing, they're very flag happy. A lot of houses have flags on their porches and stuff like that, which I don't think we really get across Europe in general. We don't, maybe on our government buildings and city halls, we have flags.
It's some kind of Independence Day or something, some big celebration.
But generally people have the flag in their house, in their porch, it's quite, or stickers on the car. It's not sort of a big thing across Europe overall, particularly in the UK. I don't know. I don't know what else there is to say about America. Because there's so many aspects of it that you can be like, oof, well, that's...
Acting wise, let's say you have a choice living, having, steady project, serious project in America or here. What would you choose?
It wouldn't bother me, either one. I'd be more than happy to go and live in America, working on long-term TV.
Their medical insurance system just scares me. If that's one of the things I don't understand.
Well, but I guess once you're in employment, and obviously acting, I think you'd be okay. If
you do enough. You have enough work a year.
Yeah, if you're earning enough acting, I think you'd be absolutely fine. Yeah. It's obviously if you weren't, then you're in the different system that they have, and it's kind of if you're fortunate enough to be seen, because that isn't always the case. That's the one thing we have in this country that I think we do sometimes take for granted, or we don't appreciate really what it does.
Yeah. Okay, look, before we go to my end section with a couple of, standard questions.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about today that I didn't ask you?
No, I think we covered a lot. I think it's been very interesting. Yeah, we've talked about different projects I've done. No, it's been really, and it's nice to hear some of your stories as well. That's been very interesting.
It's a podcast. It's not standard interview. It's a podcast. I'm a human too.
Yeah. I would say, what do you have? What's your rule or advice for an actor? Because I have something that I always say, so I wonder what yours would be.
My advice?
Yeah, someone says, I want to become an actor. What do you say?
Don't do it. No, the thing is, look, it's. I think everyone says that, and I do believe it's true, and I do believe it's that's how I see it. Don't go into acting to get famous. you probably want. You will get famous for actually being a good actor, not for going and, trying to be famous. And go into it when you really love the actual acting.
Yeah.
Because you will get to act, if you're lucky, still very little.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you will just be rejected all the time. You will have to think about income, how to provide for yourself, for your family, for whatever. It's about 1% of actors are actually working actors who can provide for themselves. So you gotta do it only if you really love to do it. And when you do, you really, when you get a chance to act, just enjoy it. Just try to take as much from it as you can. But if there is anything else that you love, maybe think about doing that first, and maybe kind of just have some financial cushion, which is very important. So that's probably what I would say. Don't go into acting for any other reason than acting.
Yeah. That's fair enough. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
My take is, I think all those points are valid. Absolutely. My thing I always say to them is more that if you're already sort of acting or doing it, is I say turn up on time, which means turn up 10 minutes early.
Yeah.
Know your lines.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you the amount of times I've been on set and other actors don't know their lines. Look, that to me, I don't understand that. That's like a plumber turning up with no tools.
You know what's funny? I had a nightmare just yesterday. I woke up in the morning from a nightmare that I am on set and I realized I don't know the lines. And honestly, I was like, okay, I need to go through the lines. And you know how it's in your dream, you kind of and I realized I don't remember a word and I'm trying to read a sentence and I don't understand it. And I try to repeat the sentence that I just read and I don't remember even the first word. And then I can't read it because you can't read in your dreams. And and it was a nightmare. Honestly, I was like, they will think I'm a professional. They will think I'm not prepared. I'm always prepared. Why don't I know the line? And it was a nightmare. So look, if you are an actor, be on time, know your lines, don't stumble over the furniture.
Don't say, who says that's Cox, isn't it? Brian Cox says that.
I've heard Michael Kayne said it.
Oh, I like Michael Kayne.
Yeah.
He's very funny.
I read his book his first autobiography, and it's incredibly funny.
I've got one of his books here. One of the older ones. Up there. Acting. But they're just, it sounds so weird, right, to say it because they're basic things. But the amount of times people are not professional, that blows my mind. And I just sort of think when you're going to come to set as an actor, it's respectful to your other actors, your other co-stars. One, to know your lines. It's just the high level of courtesy and respect. Now, don't get me wrong, people forget their lines. I totally get that.
Yes.
But there's one thing where you've not even studied the text, and I think that's the difference, right? Is my preparation is, I will read that script over and over and over, and I'm not even saying over and over again. I'll sit here, might be in this chair, over again, read that 100 times easily. And that's before I've even started studying it.
Yeah.
Because that's a different process when you're trying to find those little nuggets, those little things that can help you build the character.
Yeah.
The people I've spoke to and I've seen and they don't do that. And then I wonder, well, how passionate are you for it? Because like I said, it sounds really silly, but if you hired a builder or a plumber or a carpenter to turn up to your house to do something and they brought no tools, you'd be like, well, I'm paying you. Yeah. What are you talking about? I just find that really a very odd attitude. And maybe that's a class thing. I don't know.
No, honestly, I agree with you absolutely, because I don't remember who said it. I think it was Tom Hanks, and I think he said it is one of his kind of first experiences as an actor. He was still young. I'm not even sure if he was already an actor or just an extra. Okay. And an actor was talking to a director and asking him what do you think I should do this? And in this scene, and director said this is your job. It's not my job. You have to come prepared with the idea. It might be a wrong idea, and we'll talk about it, but you have to have an idea. You bring because something. I have a lot of shit to do here as a director. It's not my job to prepare you for you. Yeah. And Tom Hanks was like, okay, so be on time, know your lines, and have an idea. I can do that. I can do that. Yeah. And it's one of the things that for sure, because it happened to every actor. I'm sure you will support me on this. Like when you do this scene, when you do something and you kind of, maybe you've done it right. Maybe it was okay. But then like a week later, you're like, shit, that's how I was supposed to play it. And without knowing the lines properly, you will never get this idea because you just like, you can't, experiment with it.
Yeah, it's all about the experiment and the playing around with it. And you need that with your other actors.
Yeah.
But the key thing is you need to all know that you're on the same page in the sense of we know how the scene, the words for the scene. Then you can play with it and you can figure it out. But if you're still trying to figure out, where do I start? Well, we ain't going to get anywhere.
I mean, you can try to wing it, but it's so hard.
You got to be really, really good to wing it. Yeah. And even then, most people winging it, you might look, I don't know. Isn't there a thing about with acting, it's not trying to necessarily make yourself look good, but make the other person look good? Winging it is probably more about trying to make yourself look good.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because you would have put the respect in for the other person to be like, I need to know what I need to be to help that person.
I mean, just think about like, there are like it depending on production, tens or sometimes hundreds of people involved. And if you don't know your line, if you mess up your line 3 times in a row, just hundreds of people have to they start over and they can move on like to the next scene. Just come on.
Yeah. And also that's very separate from improv.
Yeah.
See, improv is very different to that. You're talking about stuff where the script is the script. That's the text, right? And you need to stick to that. Whereas improv, you've got that fluidity and that freedom. Yeah. But again, everyone knows their characters really well.
Of course.
So you can improv within the character.
That's the thing.
Different skill set.
You are prepared.
Yeah, you're still massively prepared. Because some people aren't very good at improv, but when you really know your character, I think most people can improv to some degree. But a lot of that is because they've put the time in to understand the character.
To understand what you're like, what's your objective in the scene? You have to know it.
Yeah.
So you had to study, and then you can try to improve, move forward to it. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Be on time, knowing lines.
That's the one, true. Man. Live by that, you'll be fine.
What was the hardest thing you had to go through in life?
I would still say, it's funny, it just goes back to what I said, it's that class barrier. I would say the barrier to entry into the creative industry is the class barrier to me. Coming from a low socioeconomic background, or if you come from a working class background, it's extremely hard.
Yeah.
That is still the biggest barrier because especially if you've got no connection to the industry, you're not related to an agent or your aunt isn't a screenwriter or a producer. It's extremely difficult. And then also the difficulty doesn't just come from trying to access the industry and get those casting directors to look at you, get that agent to sign you. It also comes from the financial aspect of being able to support yourself. If you need to live in a city like London, where a lot of casting now, they say things such as, you need to be London based. Good luck trying to afford London rates when you don't have a family that can maybe help subsidize your rent for a bed, in a house. You rent a room effectively, and it's hundreds, if not £1,000 a month. If you're lucky, and you've got to try and support yourself, that's the hardest barrier. I think that still you haven't to overcome. Yeah, is the class barrier.
I agree.
This is Willoughby. You might have heard him barking. Right, sit down. Shush.
All right. What's anything more in the pipeline? Anything exciting in the pipeline? Anything you can talk about? Or?
Yeah, I can say. So I've been cast as, I've got another lead role. It's kind of cool. I didn't see this one coming. I had the audition for a different role. It's for a feature called Good Enough.
Yeah.
And at first I went for a different role. And the director and the producer said, we want to see you for the lead. And I was very shocked because I said, you sure I don't see myself as the lead role? I was like, it didn't make any sense to me. I just saw a different person, a different character, and they completely disagreed. And they asked me to read the whole script again and read for that character. And I did it. And I was like, okay, maybe I can do something with this. So it was really interesting to have someone that can see something in you as well that you perhaps didn't see yourself. And so I'm now casting that. So that's a lead role. And that's meant to start shooting next year.
Nice.
So I've got a little bit of time, which is good because I need to prep because I've got to play guitar in it as well. So that's why I've been pushing my guitar practice. But it's a romantic comedy. So it'll be another romantic comedy for me, but in the UK.
Yeah.
And lead role. So it'd be interesting.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm very excited. I've been okay. I've not overly got into the prep of it yet, just the guitar side. I've read the script a few times, but I've not started the studying of it. So, because I've got the time, because no set date has been set, but the work has started, but just slowly because I'm I don't need to rush it right now, which is great. I've never had that kind of luxury where you're going to be shooting something, but you've got time, so I can focus on other areas, which is why I thought, well, the bit where I've got to sing and play guitar, I'll work on that first. Because my singing isn't the best.
I can't sing for...
Fortunately, I can play guitar. I can play that. So it's not too much struggle, but the singing aspect was the bit I was like, oh, let's try and get that a little tighter.
Nice.
So that's that. And then otherwise, it's just auditions on different pieces that I've done and just waiting to hear.
Yeah.
As you know what that's like.
Yeah, it's like waiting for mostly nothing.
Yeah. And I'm with I've got my new agent. I say new, we've been together for a few months now, Brent. And he's great because we're really now pushing the career in the right direction. And he's really sort of figured out what kind of my strengths are. Yeah. And how that can help sell me, because that's effectively what you need an agent to do, to sell you. So Brent has been great. So a lot of time, I've never had this before. The relationship with him is fantastic. Yeah. Being able to quite literally pick up the phone every day and we talk. That's great. Nice. Yeah. That's really amazing. Good. Yeah. Which is a key thing. That relationship between agent and talent is great because it's a team. It's a collaboration. You know, it isn't one person working for the other. No. It's a collaboration. And I feel like with Brent, we've got that. So there's lots of ideas and things we're pushing forward for, which is good. But yeah, Good Enough, that feature is the one I'm on next. Nice. Maybe we'll do another one of those before. Hell yeah, man, let's do it. We'll have Willoughby in it again. This is Willoughby, that's his name. Such a pompous name, isn't it? Willoughby. Handsome dog. He's a naughty dog is what he is.
Another question.
Yeah, go for it.
Do you think you have a mission in life?
Yeah.
What is it?
I want to be the best actor I can be. I want to do work that I'm proud of, which is hard because you're not always going to do work that you sort of think, oh, that was good. Yeah. But the main mission is not to give up, really, which is really hard. Yeah. Because the whole thing is so hard. We keep saying, because I think people need to understand that the barrier to entry is really, really, really difficult. It's really high. And you will have people that you've probably seen already from drama school and stuff who have given up. And it's not necessarily, I don't mean that in a derogatory sense of giving up, but it's just, you need to earn money and you need to do other things perhaps. And so that's the kind of the mission for me, is just not to give up, to keep pushing. Because for me, I'm like, I always say this to Holly, I always say, I'm on the precipice. I'm on the precipice. And that's what it is. And that's what it always feels like. And it should do. And it will get easier, hopefully. But not to give up is the mission. All right.
Universal advice. Piece of advice that you would give to basically anyone in the world, no matter who they are, where they are, what they do.
Don't rush to judgment. Yeah, don't rush to judgment. Which kind of in itself is like saying be kind.
Yeah. Not exactly, but yeah, I understand you so much. And I think we all are guilty in it from time to time. Yeah. Even if you understand it.
Well, people like to be certain. People, for some reason, feel it's virtuous to be certain. Certainty doesn't exist. There is no such thing as certainty. And you have to be comfortable with that. And so when you feel like you're certain on something, you will judge someone else if they differ from you. And I think that really is a weakness. Everyone's lived different lives, and yet we're all pretty much the same, but you've lived a slightly different life, you've taken a different path. And so when you judge others for whatever they've done, I think it shows more of a weakness in character. But it's so easily done, right? Because everyone's got their confirmation bias. And so you do naturally judge. It's just being aware. It's just tapping into that awareness that perhaps you can be a bit too judgmental and try not to rush to it and just listen to others.
It's very easy to get annoyed at something, but you never know why this person did this particular thing at this particular time. You never know. And look, as I said before, right now, I'm delivering food on a bicycle. The amount of time I screamed at someone because they kind of cut, and it's very dangerous when you're on a bicycle.
Yeah, when they cut London, wow, yeah.
And then you're just like, oh, it's rage. But then suddenly you just do something, you're like, I just did the most stupid thing that almost killed me.
Yeah.
And it was completely my mistake. And you gotta think, like, maybe this person who cut you off like just a minute ago, maybe it was their one mistake that they did in the week, but just because they're tired, like, and you're angry at them, but you should understand, you've been this idiot.
Yeah. It's so hard though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially in London as well, where cars, e-scooters, buses.
Yeah, it's hard.
Everything.
Okay. My very last new tradition in season.
Oh,
well, it's not new. It's like a season 2 tradition that started in February, and I realized I don't ask my guests to prepare for it because it's better for them to think on the spot.
Whoa, scary times. Okay.
So the tradition is called lasting words, and my previous guest, Tom Baston, he left a quote for you, and I want to know, without any context, if this quote does anything for you.
Okay.
If it brings anything in your mind. And his quote is obviously, he's a comedy writer, so his quote is funny. Can you be more handsome?
I like that. This is why he's the writer of Plebs.
Yeah.
And here we go again.
Anything that doesn't bring anything personal in you. Just like hearing this quote, maybe something from your life, maybe something from somewhere.
Can you be more handsome?
Yeah.
It's one of those things, right? Because you can't be necessarily more handsome. I mean, it's just brilliant because to me, that's a very like English thing to say. Like, cause it's just absurd. Like it's so wonderfully absurd. I love it. Yeah.
And he heard it during the casting when he was auditioning for A Handsome Man.
Someone actually said, can you be more handsome? I mean, that's just absurd. That's ridiculous. That's so good. He's got to write that into some comedy.
I think so, yeah.
Because that's brilliant. And that's the kind of nonsense you hear though, right?
Yeah.
Can you be more handsome? Brilliant.
All right, second part. Now what I need from you. Just think for a minute.
Yeah.
Is there a quote it could be from a book, from a song, from someone the loved one told you, maybe from your parents, from whatever, but something like a phrase that at some point you've heard and it made you think differently about something, or maybe about life. Maybe it was a phrase that actually opened your eyes to the meaning of life or religion or whatever. But, is there a phrase that you really remember that kind of got to you?
Yes. It's I'm going to paraphrase it. This is not word, it's not verbatim. The more alcohol I consume, I seem to exhibit the effects of intoxication.
No way.
Oscar Wilde. I love Oscar Wilde. I think Oscar Wilde is phenomenal. I've actually got one of his quotes up there.
Yeah.
It's a really good one. I'll show you. Look at this card. This is a sweet one. This is a good one. It's actually a good one because it's like food for thought. With freedom, books, flowers, and the moon, who could not be happy? I think that's
absolutely everyone.
Apparently so, yeah. But yeah, I find really funny is the one that, he says, I've noticed that the more alcohol I consume, I seem to exhibit the signs of intoxication, which I think is wonderful. I'm not saying it quite right. He says it way more flamboyant, just way more clever than I do. But it's just wonderful.
Affect you just because it's funny?
Oh, man, Oscar Wilde is got to be one of the wittiest writers that ever existed. It's fantastic. Yeah, and that when I read that, another one he does, which I thought was really funny, and I thought, oh, maybe I must be really, really boring. Because he says that people who are brilliant at breakfast are really boring.
Brilliant in breakfast.
Yeah, if you're brilliant at breakfast time, you must be really boring. Because the evening's where everything happens, right? So if you're brilliant in the morning, what the hell? What's the point? And it's those things he says, the way he pieces words together in phrases. I love the stuff he writes. Absolutely love it. But yeah, the intoxication one I think is fantastic.
I agree with you.
He's just very, very witty writer. There's loads of writers I like, but Oscar Wilde.
You know what's interesting? I never read anything by him.
No? Importance of Being Earnest? Never read that? Really good.
I gotta dive into it because, as I said before we started the recording, I kind of stopped reading when I started working from home because I didn't have this commute time every day that I kind of spent 2 hours every day reading. And I'm not a fast reader, but still. And I loved reading since like from childhood always. But now I just realized at some point, like I stopped reading and I do need to start over. I need to start.
To me,
like, it's just, you need to, it's like any other thing in your life, you have to actually schedule it nowadays, because you can't just think like, I'll read at some point. You won't.
Yeah. To me, it's part of what I do, like on a daily basis, in the sense of craft, of work in preparation.
Yeah.
There's loads of things I do. Reading to me is a big part of that, because the more you read, and particularly the more varied your reading material, I think when you get given a script, you can tell the difference between good writing and bad writing quite quickly. And you can tell what bits maybe you would want to tweak. And maybe if you get the opportunity, you can say, I think we should move it that way. I just think it just gives you a better eye for good writing.
I mean, just in general, just for an actor, just for a person.
Just for a person in life.
As a person, you just live way more lives if you read more books.
Which is why like there's just such a crazy mixture of genres. I mean, I've got plays up there. I love reading a play like August Wilson. I've always been a big fan of Shakespeare, which people always find really odd. I always loved Shakespeare. When I was in school, I loved Shakespeare. I've been wanting to join the RSC for years. They won't take me. I've applied so many times, man. They won't take me. I've loved Shakespeare. Like, that's one of my favorites. I've got a bunch of his plays up there. My favorite is Measure for Measure that he did. That is a brilliant play. But yeah, reading's great. I think it helps you as an actor, but like you're saying, it helps anyone in life. You're going to read those stories and you're going to be amazed at the people that have gone through those things, or those characters they've created that will resonate with you and with whatever you're going through in your life. It's just the highest form of storytelling, I think.
I agree. Look, I love books. I love films. I love series. And just, there is this podcast, Diary of a CEO, by Stephen Bartlett. And he's an amazing guy. He's an amazing businessman. I love his podcast, and I'll listen to it a lot. But one thing that just kills me, that sometimes people ask him, like, have you seen this film? Have you read this book? And he's like, no, I don't watch films. I don't have time for films. And when he's been asked about books, he's like, I don't read fiction. And like, he's a great guy, very smart, very driven, but at the same time, I would never be able to, I wouldn't want to swap with him, because I'm even if I'm a failure in his success, like I would never want to live my life when the only books I read is like how to optimize 1% of your time to optimize 100% of your time, because you need more time to earn. No.
Yeah. You've got to have a book, man.
Yeah. Just read a book and get drowned in this new world, new characters, empathy is so important for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. Yeah, absolutely agree.
Well, that's what we do. What we do. There
you go. Yeah.
It was a huge pleasure to talk to you.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
And we just met. And I think it was one of the easiest episodes I have ever done. And I really hope that you will break through.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. And for you, well, I'm pretty sure you will soon. You'll do it, man. You'll do it, man. And things like this help.
Yes,
talking about other actors.
A lot. It's so nice. Honestly, since I started the podcast, it's just like it's a chance to sit down with someone and just have a conversation, proper, meaningful conversation. So thank you very much.
Hey, man. Pleasure. Thank you.
Guys, if you enjoy the podcast, obviously subscribe, like. By the way, where can people find you?
Instagram. At Kayne Lee Harrison.
Yeah.
TikTok, I think that's the same. Yeah. Kayne Lee Harrison. And you can see me on Netflix.
Yeah. By the way, everything is in the description. Please go, leave a comment, and see you next time. Bye.